So why should you care about inquiry? Well, the instruction to know yourself, right, is one of the oldest pieces of advice in the book. The other day I was listening to a podcast of Sam Harris, and he's having a discussion with Yuval Noah Harari, the author of Sapiens and 21 Questions for the 21st Century. And one of the audience members addresses both of them and says, what advice would you give? What should we do? And Yuval's comment is, he comes back to this thing of know yourself, right? In the 21st century, in the era of Facebook and social media, and of the fact that your views and who you are and what you want and how you think, right, is all subject to influence. In a way, it's always been subject to influence from the outside, but now that's even more, right? We can be nudged by Google, by Facebook, by all this technology that on the one hand is very empowering, and on the other hand can be used to make us think in certain ways, to want certain things, to guide us towards certain purchasing decisions, towards certain life choices. And over time, that's only going to get more, right? As the technology and the AIs develop, we're going to be subject more and more to these kind of forces in more and more obvious ways and in more and more subtle ways. So what can you do to help yourself in that situation? Well, know yourself, right? You need to know yourself from the inside, because that will at least give you, if you like, a fighting chance to recognize when you're being nudged, when you're being influenced in a certain way that may or may not be congruent with how you would like to live. I give you an example, actually. From my personal history, I noticed that I'd been reading certain kinds of newspapers with a certain political slant for about a year. And I never really thought about it. But what I noticed at some point, my goodness, every time I read an article from this newspaper, I get angry, right? And I'm starting to think in a certain way about certain kinds of people, right? As if they are really bad and really stupid and they're messing up the country and it's all their fault, right? Which is basically the narrative that runs through this newspaper, right? Now, I had the wherewithal to catch myself, to see that happening and to go, whoa, okay, there's something going on here, something that is not feeling quite right. And I can see that by continuously exposing myself to this kind of story, right, it's starting to shape my emotional responses, the ways that I think about different people in the world in a very particular way. So I could catch it, and that could allow me to then do something about it, if nothing else, to start checking whether this was actually true, whether this is correct. So to know yourself, right? If that's the most important thing, how do you do that? Meditation is one tool, right? Meditation allows you to become aware of the inner world. But really that's not enough, right? Becoming aware of your inner world is just the beginning. And in meditation, you mostly become aware of what happens to float through. If you want to understand yourself, if you want to know what goes on inside you and actually understand what's going on there, you need something like inquiry. That is precisely what inquiry actually is. Inquiry is the process of getting in touch with your inner world, with the immediate, palpable, tangible reality of what you're feeling and thinking and sensing and your emotions, the sensations in your body. And it goes even deeper to the very sense of your consciousness itself, the deeper forces inside you that are actually driving everything that goes on, right? So inquiry allows you to contact and explore everything that's going on there. Your ordinary day-to-day experience, the anger that you feel after you read a newspaper article, the way you respond to a friend, right? The way you're feeling about your job. Any of these circumstances of life, Inquiry allows you to become more conscious of where you're coming from in meeting that circumstance. It allows you to become more conscious of and to understand what in you is responding to what's going on in your life, and to see the patterns and influences that are flowing between them, right? And this gives you freedom. This, as Yuval Noah Harari put it, can allow you, can help you not to be hacked, right? Because if the people out there, if the media and the AIs and the social media can sway your opinions and nudge you in a certain way, basically they can hack you, right? They can hack how you think, what you want, how you vote. And we're starting to see that happen already. So the way to hack-proof yourself is to know yourself, and the way to know yourself is to inquire.